The highlight for me was again the people and parties. Like Shot Show convention was cool, but the events out of that, like the range event at Staccato, the way Staccato treated us, the Gundies, the way they treated us, EOTech and how they treated us, and then all the people we got to meet in between, like that was lit.
Welcome back to Whiskey and Windage, the 2A podcast for the people, by the people. I'm your host, Mike, joined by my co-hosts, Adam and Matt. Boys, it's been a rough week. How's everybody doing?
Usually I say awesome, excited. And I'm excited to be talking to you guys. And I do miss you both a little bit, even Mike. But when we're filming this, it's just a couple of days after SHOT Show. And I got the SHOT Show crud. I was patient zero, I'm pretty sure. And I got it on the flight on the way back. And I was on my deathbed for a day. I'm feeling better now, but I'm not 100%. So we're getting there.
Matt?
I feel great, finally. I'm not gonna lie, like I got back Thursday evening, made it back to Boise, Idaho, and like that night was rough. And all day Friday I was like jet lagged and just tired as hell. And then I slept like 12 hours.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest. I think when I couldn't even make it down, full transparency, I couldn't make it down to see Matt and Linnea off. It was not happening.
He sent a text message.
Yeah. Then Kelly was like, Adam's leaving, come down here because I want you down here with me. And I was like, okay. Dude, I walked down there and it took everything I had. We get back up there. She says we got to pack and go. I got on the plane. We paid overage fees, got on the plane. I went to sleep. I woke up and we were touching down in Nashville. And, dude, it was a rough 2 days after that. But we'll get into that, towards the end of the show. We're going to go chronologically the best we can. Full transparency, Matt and myself landed a day before Adam. We got there on Saturday. We just kind of hung out. Nothing really went on at SHOT Show. Just worked out better for flights. And then Sunday morning, Adam flew in. So, dude, Adam, why don't you start us off, man?
Okay, I will start us off because this was kind of interesting. I touch down, and I'm that guy. When we start landing, I break the rule. I already turned my phone off airplane mode when we're like descending. I don't give a fuck, right? So go ahead and did that, and I click on Instagram, let my feed upload, and all I see is Whiskey and Windage's live. So as we touch down on the runway, these two jokers are live on Instagram, waiting for me at the airport, talking about me. So then I jump on the live while I'm on the airplane still, for a couple minutes while I'm waiting to get off the airplane. So that was fun, and I knew they were there to pick me up, so I didn't have to get an Uber, which was kind of nice. And then, we got our bags, and man, we were off to the races.
Yeah. I mean, first thing we had in store was to get you back to the hotel so you could dump your bags.
Yep.
Because we had a
mission.
About an hour drive to get out there. We had a mission to get out and see the homie Nate, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, that drive was something else. It's a beautiful drive out there. The mountains out there. I mean, if you're not used to seeing mountains, which it's been a long time for me, it's very surreal to see that landscape.
Yeah, Matt. What was your? I mean, it probably looked like Idaho to you, but
I mean, a lot of the western side of the country looks pretty similar. Idaho definitely has some beautiful high elevation desert scapes, but the scapes around Las Vegas are another step as far as high desert goes, and it gorgeous drive out to really an amazing, just like Disneyland for pew pew parties, like an amazing facility that Team Staccato and has put together out there.
Yeah. So just to let everyone know, the first faux pas that we did on every one of our videos was nobody told us. Our whole mission was to go down there and hang out with Nate and the rest of the team down at Staccato Vegas. formerly, as of Sunday,
Yep.
Prairie Fire, and not one person told us, hey, the name's changing. So every one of our videos were like, hey, we're in Prairie Fire and all this stuff, and then boom, it's, oh yeah.
Well,
hey,
it didn't. It didn't
we
officially
changed the
change
name.
though. But it didn't change yet. The change came after that.
It was
On that
Monday
Sunday.
It
morning.
happened
Yeah.
Monday. It happened Monday for the
Right.
range day.
But it was super
Exactly.
because like driving in, the sign said Prairie Fire, and driving out it said
Right.
Staccato Vegas.
So,
Like it was like
it's-
actively happening.
Yeah. We were in the active change of it, so it's kind of. I think right now the words are interchangeable. So if you hear Prairie
Yeah.
Fire, it's Staccato Vegas. It's interchangeable for right now.
Yeah, but right now, definitely go look up, what is it, Staccato Vegas, if you're on Instagram.
Yep.
Brand new account.
Definitely give them a follow because Prairie Fire, Nevada still exists, and they have started out a brand new channel when it comes to Instagram. So definitely go check out Staccato Vegas. No spaces, dots, underscores, nothing. But man, when we first pulled in, the first thing we saw were all of the towers and all of the climbing obstacles. And you could see that before you even saw the entrance. But you swung in and there was this huge gated entrance in this nice, like, visitor center. And
Real nice.
buildings everywhere. And of course, they rolled the red carpet out. They already had made some phone calls, and one of the staff was ready. Super cool guy. He did some cool guy stuff, so we're not going to say his name. But man, super nice dude. Gave us the tour of the facility. We all jumped in a side by side, and I'll say on my part, I think the thing that made me say wow the most, because there was a couple different things, but I think when we were at the long range area, if you looked where everyone was shooting, I don't know how far that was, but if you actually looked left, you could have probably shot 2 to 3 times as far before you got to the base of those mountains, and it was just breathtaking how beautiful it was.
Oh, it was gorgeous. And then when we were over there, we ran into a friend.
Todd Hodnett.
Yeah.
Todd
Yeah.
Hodnett.
We saw him.
So that was
Yeah,
super cool.
finally
That
got
was
to stick
super
his
cool.
paw.
It was awesome because we didn't expect that. So actually meeting him and talking to him for a few minutes was definitely a treat. And he was out there doing his thing in the long range. So that was very cool.
Yeah, there were a couple people out there testing some stuff out and getting a little behind the scenes on some stuff, and rightfully so. And they were getting to test all the newest, latest, and greatest equipment. And it was just really cool watching these guys ringing steel from I don't know, how far was that, Matt? Did you ever find out?
I don't remember how far that they were shooting in that moment when we came across them, but it was really far. And
It was 1,000+ yards, easy.
Easy.
yeah, and if I remember right, we were being told when we came up on there that they have 2,000 yard capability on that range.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
definitely some ability to get out there, and if you got something to get out there and stretch its legs.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd have to be well over 1,000 because when we were checking out some of those scopes that day, on the second day, on that range, we were just checking out the clarity of them. That was 800 yards, and it was way further. So it had to be well over 1,000.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure because we kind of rode around. We went to go say what's up to the homie Andy over at Syndicus. We had just missed him. That's what wrapped us around to the long range area. And then after that, I think we just did the tour and went all the way to the back, but we got to see the bow hunting range with all the different animals
Yep.
at unmarked distances and unknown distances, and you just had to shoot those. Got to see both of the canyon courses, which was crazy.
Canyon course.
Yeah,
Oh, sporting clays. We saw the sporting course.
Yep.
that's right. Oh, that's right. That was on the right-hand side as you came in once around that corner. Yeah. And then we went all the way to the back, and we got to see all the vendors starting to set up. We ran into a few people that we were introduced to, a couple people we knew. And then we kind of got all the way back at the very back, and we kind of ended up at the Staccato area.
We did. And I think we got to watch some people film some stuff, which was cool.
Yeah.
But then it was awesome because we got to film some stuff there.
Yeah. I don't know how we commandeered it, but
We did.
actually I do know how we commandeered it.
We just can't say.
It was borrowed. But we got our hands on that new staccato HD 4.5, and we just dropped a video on it today on our YouTube. But Matt, why don't you talk about it a bit, bro?
Dude, so it was, again, we're not going to name any names, but it was like, hey, I'm so-and-so, and these are these guys, and you guys have this thing. All you kids, I'm going to leave you here. Everybody play nice together, and make sure to share toys. And that's exactly how it went down. And so we got to try out the new Staccato HD. I mean, pretty short list of people who'd gotten to play with it, and so I feel pretty blessed to try it. I love it because every single control on that gun is ambidextrous. It's a great service size. It's obvious that that this model is less competition focused. Not saying that you couldn't compete with it. You could build it out to compete with it, but it seems that it's definitely more of a service pistol focus. Police officers, sidearm in the military, something like that, and it's a beast. It's one of the sweetest 9mm, and I'm a sucker for a hammer fired 9mm gun. Like, I'm impressed.
Adam, what were your thoughts, bro? I mean,
Flat shooter. I mean, some people are going to argue with the Glock mag. I had, again, arguments at Circle Bar with two people about it. I'm not going to name their names. They know who they are. I think their egos about the gun is the issue. The Glock mag is not the issue, and the arguments on it are stupid. I think it's great. I have no issue with it. I'm happy about it. I probably will be owning one of those. It'll probably be in my next EDC. So I'm excited for what they've done with the gun. So I'm just ready for it to come out in sometime this spring.
yeah. I mean, I think I'll go ahead and say it. So we've heard it from multiple people. We've heard it from the Staccato marketing people directly when we interviewed them at the booth. We heard it from the Staccato marketing people outside of the booth, and then we heard it on the range. Whether or not it matters and if you're really going to do it, that's one thing, but these mags were frozen, dropped in mud, thrown in dirt, kicked around. They were reliable. They said that they were more reliable. I don't want to say that Staccato mags are unreliable, but the Glock mags were more reliable. Not to mention, most people, I mean, yeah, I get it. You might be Team SIG or Team Glock, but for those of you that are, somewhere in the middle that own a little of both,
Right.
odds are you got a half dozen Glock mags laying around. So these things are interchangeable, and I'm telling you, dude, $20-25 a mag versus $80 a mag, like, you got me. And for those that say, oh, you don't need the back, grip safety, just tape it. Well, I don't want to get in the habit of taping my guns to make things work. I get it. That does help, and people do it. But if I have to tape something, I mean, I don't know. I just liked it. It was a super flat shooter. It is a little bit longer than the P. I think a 1/4 inch longer. It's a little bit shorter than the P. And it's, I couldn't tell if it was thinner. They felt about the same. But what's really interesting is, me personally, I learned how to shoot that gun a lot better, letting my thumb ride the slide and use the safety as a gas pedal, because I'm one of the kings of, if someone wouldn't have told me that, I'm king of putting my right hand on the Staccato or any 1911 or 2011 for that matter, and my thumb will ride the safety and always engage the safety.
I mean, that's a good segue about getting some schooling, and we all got schooled a little bit, but I mean this in a good way. We had some good training out there as well, some pretty good instructors, and we all took something away from that course, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Canyon Run. Who was the first to run that? Was it Matt?
Matt.
All right, Matt, talk to us about
I suckered him into it too, because I didn't want to run it first. I'll be honest.
Look, these guys set me up. They knew. We're walking with Team Staccato. There was some other clients out on the range or whatever, but they were kind of showing us the course went until it was our turn, and it finally came down to it. And they're like, "All right, who's gonna go first?" And I'm like, "Well, oh yeah, Matt, you want to go first, buddy? Yeah." Like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm a big dumb Labrador, honestly. Like, down for whatever with a frickin' smile on my face. Like, yeah, let's go. Oh. Really freaking cool course though. We had We had Sergeant Ashley out there giving us instructions. Some other super high speed guys with tons of good experience and really good pointers made me feel like I knew what I was doing. But I gotta say, like my experience with staccatos overall is really limited. I shot an older STI before that was pretty raced out and a nice gun, but since the rebranding, since the relaunch of staccato, I haven't shot any of those guns, and so this was my first experience. Picked them up, pointed, and clicked. You know, I had a little hiccup running the safety, but dumped the rounds. I did pretty good clearing the first stage. Took off like a bat out of hell. I shouldn't have ran that fast. I was out of breath by the next station, but the carbine portion of it, the PCC portion, was a lot of fun. Just a freaking good time.
Before you go in, let me explain a little bit about what the course was. So on the course, there were 4 stations. There were actually more in this canyon course, but what it consisted of was a set of, I think it was 8 steel targets with a pistol shooting at about 30 yards, 35 yards, somewhere in there. After you shoot it, put it on safe, put it back in the box, leave the shooting area, and you run to the next area. When you get to that next area, there's another shooting box. There you pull out another pistol. You shoot it about 20 yards, 25 yards. I'm not making excuses because we all had our misses. If we would have shot this course 4 hours earlier, it would not have been so bad. But the problem was the way the sun was coming down, like you could not see anything. You couldn't see the dot. You had to go irons, which that's a good training anyway. Long story short, put that down, run to the next one. When you get there, there was a 9mm PCC. You engaged targets at various distances all the way up to about 65 yards. Moved on from that, ran to the next one, and you engaged targets all the way up to about 50 yards. Everything was timed, you know, and it was from start to finish, everyone ran with you. You know, you had Sergeant Ashley calling out hit. You had one of the team guys helping, running the clock, you know, watching everything, watching the time. I mean, it was great. And everyone was rooting each other on. And, man, I got to tell you, when Matt took off that first time, I was like, dang, my boy's like a dang, I don't know what has long legs and runs fast. I guess a gazelle, maybe
A giraffe.
Look, bro,
a giraffe.
I can't shoot for crap. If it's a running course, I got to get some stride in there. That's my only redeeming feature is the long legs.
Yeah, well, I mean, I ran it too. Once I ran it, I realized like, okay, I know what I could work on. And just like Ashley said, the moment you run it, you're immediately going to almost, and I say almost sarcastically, but you almost feel like you can cut your time in half just because you know what to expect. You know the targets. And that's good, but it was also humbling, and I don't know, but it was fun. It made me want to do it again. But I think other than Adam, I think we coined the new term whiskey and winded.
Whiskey and winded, yeah.
It's true. You guys did okay. You mean you're not used to running a lot? It's okay.
I don't run unless somebody chases me. I mean, there was 4 different stations that I had guns. In what world am I running in any of those 4 stations unless those targets moved at me? But they weren't.
I do a little bit.
It wasn't an ice cream truck, so I was good.
I do a little bit of jogging, but was like that was a 75-yard sprint, like as fast as I could. Like
I think Mike called it whiskey and winded, right?
Yeah, I was like whiskey and winded at the very end when Matt was like, he. I was like, dang, bro, dang. But Adam, I mean, I know that as far as the endurance, it was all good with you. What did you learn from that course?
My stance with the pistol. I like to lean back and kind of like. It's almost like I'm anticipating the recoil of it, leaning back and not being into the gun. So that was kind of my big thing.
And I think it's cool because I learned a few things too. You know, I stand over the top. I've got a forward aggressive stance on it. You know, I'm over the top of my feet, which is good. But some things I did on my grip got corrected. That's nice to learn from. I could actually see those in the shooting when we were doing it. I could also see what you were talking about with your posture with your back on the first stage, just because you were standing there. And yeah, it's almost like you had a reverse arch in your back, which that's cool because the best part about that is now you know that's a problem. And so now when you do your dry firing, when you do more training, like you can correct that. That's really cool. Matt, what did you learn?
Yo, I learned that I need to spend more time shooting on a red dot on a pistol. I am kind of a fan of nostalgia, so I shoot a 6-hour P226 with just iron sights. But I think that generally in the industry at this point, it is more common to come across, especially a full-size handgun with a dot on it than with irons. It did make for a comfortable transition when I couldn't even see the dot. I was like, all right, I know how to use iron sights, but I need practice on that thing because I was slow. I was slow on it.
Yeah, well, but you know, that's the best part. And not being a sales pitch for staccato, because we're about to move on from this. But honestly, that new HD, and they're not the first to do this, they're not the last to do this, but keeping the rear sight post in front of the optic mount point is an outstanding idea, because even if you're used to shooting irons, there's going to be that time when you take your stuff to the range and realize, oh man, my battery's dead and I don't have an extra on me. So just being able to still handle your weapon correctly and not guess it. Yeah, I think the back posts are about here. I mean, you can still shoot without any issue other than just knocking the dust off.
I agree. There's a learning curve to it as well, Matt. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. When you're used to dots now, like going back to irons, I know I struggle because I'm so used to the dot. But once you're used to the dot, it's second nature.
Oh, I know that, and it really does. Like my EDC now has a dot on it, and I should be using that more.
So we get a bunch of content there. It starts to get dark, and something I noticed compared to Tennessee, I don't know about everybody else, but I noticed really quick when the sun sets in Tennessee, I know I have about an hour to an hour and a half before it gets dark, and it was daylight until it wasn't, being out there. And it was like, okay, cool. Looks like the sun's starting. Oh, look, the mountains are turning a little pink. You go in the gas station, get something to drink and walk out, and it's dark. And you're like, what just happened?
It's the mountains, those mountains.
But we shot everything. We shot the whole course. We had a great time. We were going to be back for the next day for the official staccato range day. So we went back, and what did we do? Did we go to Circle Bar that first night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went to the Vortex, the big old black hole of the Circle Bar that just sucks you in and keeps you there.
It's an anomaly. It's a weird place. It's like the Bermuda Triangle, dude. It's weird.
And as ironic as it is, the first person we saw walking through Circle Bar was the guy who gave us the SHOT Show report last year, Mr. Chris Blau. And we walk up and we see him, and he's just like, you know, all hugs and grins.
Dude, he just wanted a group hug.
Yeah, I mean, super nice guy. Super nice guy. Now he's working at, where's it, Reardon Manufacturing? Working with suppressors and everything. If you need a suppressor, call Chris. Good dude. But yeah, man, we got to walk around and we hung out for a while there. I mean, it's
it definitely is a time. It will suck your time away.
It's a time warp, yeah. It's definitely bizarre. But I mean, I think Sunday night was probably the most mild evening of the week. Even stumbling into the Circle Bar to see what was going on there.
We saw all sorts of people, but that was like the first night, and we were like, hey, we're going to be professional. We got to be up early. We're waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning so we can get back in the car and drive back out to Staccato Vegas. And so we kind of kept it low key. We had a good time. I don't think we left until like 11, maybe midnight. Maybe
somewhere
somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was
somewhere in there. But we left. We went to bed. Woke up the next morning. Drove out, and you know the festivities began. We started in the very back, and the first thing we did was where did we go? First thing we did was we stopped at the Staccato. Again.
Yeah, and we saw Michelle Scuzzi.
Oh yeah, we saw Vescuzzi. Yeah, we talked to her, had her give us a demo on it, which will be up later this week. Talk about the Staccato HD again. And our real focus was, this is a new gun coming out. Whether you like it, love it, indifferent, whether you're a staccato guy, an OA guy, a 1911 single stack 45 guy, doesn't matter. This is a new twist on it, so you got to kind of show it some love. You know, the other ones that are out there, you know, we're going to show them just as much love. We're not one-sided or partial, but, you know, at the same time, I've learned from personal experience, I'm not stuck to a brand, and I'm definitely not stuck to a model. What I'm stuck to are the people behind it, and everyone we've met there has done nothing but treat us with respect and show us love. So, you know, that's kind of what we're doing back.
Yeah, Team Staccato really treated us like rock stars.
Except Michelle, she kind of ribbed you a little bit.
Except for Michelle, yeah. Going back to that red dot thing, she was just like, I was like, man, I really like the way it shoots, but I can't shoot it real well. She's just like, are you going to hit anything? Like, gosh, quit pulling the trigger. You're just wasting ammo. She was giving me a hard time. Well deserved, though.
Honestly, the range day there was excellent. I mean,
yeah.
We got to drive around, so we didn't have to walk the entire time. And that made it really, like, time-wise, just very convenient to drive our vehicle around, hit the boost. We got to shoot a lot of guns that we've had, of companies we've had on the show, which was awesome. I mean, it was a good time.
Now I'll be bougie. If you want to sit down and hear about Staccato Range Day and what I think they could do better, so I got one, and the first one is simple. And yes, I just said I'm going to be bougie. I think when you do an open invite for the public, the dealers, and everyone, I think you should have a media line, just because there are people that are trying to get there and put stuff down on film for everyone to benefit. And I get it. You know, we were told, well, you should have been here an hour before the show opened, is what we were told by one guy. And it was like, hey, man, it said doors open at this. We showed up. Like, sorry. And let me tell you, it was like an outdoor venue concert, like when you drive out to the middle of nowhere and there's this party in a field. When we pulled up, we were on time. We were probably half an hour early, and we sat in traffic on the side road for 30, 45 minutes before we actually got in.
Oh, yeah, we were watching 47 get sworn in.
Yeah, we were watching it.
We were watching it while we were driving, watching it on the phone.
But it was a good time. I mean, yeah, could that have been better? But there's always things that can be better. But honestly, overall, it was a great show. We got to hang out with our boy Andrew from Cinecus and shoot some of his awesome AKs. Shout out. That was actually like, I had no doubt they were going to be awesome, but those are some of the flattest shooting rifles that I've ever shot.
Bro, a 5.56 AK, and granted without accessories, but with a loaded mag in it at under 6.5 pounds, like that's pretty on par with the weight of a fighting AR. So yeah. It's shown a lot. He's doing really good stuff, and I agree that I think it was great that we got to shoot his whole lineup of AK.
Yeah, Noveski was there. Their line was busy as always. Collies and Swarovski were out there. We got to look through some of their spotting scopes. Damn. I'm not a long-range guy per se, so spotting scopes aren't my cup of tea. And when I say that, I mean that by saying I can get by with a less expensive thing because I'm not that guy. Would I like one of theirs? Oh, absolutely. But those things were some of the clearest glass I think I've ever looked at. Like Adam said earlier, 800 yards. I mean, I could look and I could see everything on target. I could tell you where divots were in the target. I mean, it was amazing. I'm sure the price tag was amazing too. We didn't get into that, but if you're one of those guys that needs one, like, dude, those things were awesome.
That is one thing I gotta say about Swarovski is I've never messed with them because I know that I can't mess with them. Like I don't go into the Ferrari dealership and ask for keys to test drive the car, you know. So it was really cool though to be able to even get to play with stuff like that and really see the difference and that level of optic is gonna really, that's where you're gonna see the distance is at those ranges, at that really far, those really far objectives, and it was mind blown, honestly.
Well, I'm sure there's a couple other brands that are just as clear, but I mean, whether you're a spotter overseas for for one of the marksmen, or you are in a competition, or you are a long range hunter and you're a guide and you're trying to put your client on you know the elk or the mule deer of a lifetime, like, I get it. You get what you pay for, and without a doubt, those are worthy of it in those situations. Here, I don't need to see past 100 yards because of the honeysuckle and the thorns, but out there, perfectly get it. Then we walked up and we got to see the boys over at Genesis.
We did, and we got to shoot the full auto, and that was.
12.
I'll be honest, I did not anticipate the recoil being that much. I was like, I got this, right? He's like, no, get a good stance. I'm like, I got this. I don't care how tough you think you are, like, that thing will knock you back on full auto, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Unless you're Sam from Thunder Beast. I met him, and that dude is built like a freaking.
Yeah, it's true.
He's built like a dumpster. Like, that dude is wide, tall, thick. Like, he's not moving.
True. But that was pretty cool. But honestly, like, before we move on, we should really talk about the special thing we got to do at the range day.
Yeah, well, I was gonna go into that. I was gonna let you talk about shooting the FN Scar first, because that was our next booth. But
that's right.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk about that, and then segue us into.
Yeah, so the FN Scar was pretty cool. They the 5.56 FN Scar, which is only in Europe right now, and I'll tell you what, the SAS guy that was there, super nice guy, and he was talking about it. I'm like, okay, this is cool, and I shot that thing. I'm gonna tell you what, no recoil, smooth shooter. I would love to have one. Like, hands down, I'll almost say I only got to shoot a couple rounds out of it, but if I shot that a little bit more, I might take that over an AR. Like, it was. That's how good it was. I know that's a gutsy statement to say, but it was pretty freaking nice.
Shoot it, because I've shot a Scar. I had never shot a 5.56, and it was like, I don't care about that to a point. I do, but if Adam says it shoots flat and likes it and all that, I just take your word for it.
If I could get one in the U.S., I would, but what I was told is you probably can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if you could, it'd be that rare FN money.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it was cool, and you're right. Then that segues us when we got to go to Maxim.
Man.
And then Matt asked a great question. Because Matt asked a great question, sometimes if you want something, you have to ask for it, and that's what Matt did.
So we've made buddies with a person or two over at Maxim, and we're just BSing while we're standing in line, and I'm not known for like having a huge affinity for modern AR platform rifles, but Maxim is a company that I have followed for a long time, and they build some of the sickest little PDWs and have for a while. And so I just, like a dummy, I like to think out loud. So I'm like, is that little 7.62 PDW here? And he's like, what? He's like, no. And then he's like, well, I don't know. What have you heard? So they cleared the table, pulled the fancy little guy for us.
Well, hold on. Let me paint this, because Matt asked the question and you asked the guy that we know there. He goes over, talks to two other guys. Then they go talk to one of the bigwigs there. Yeah. And they come back and they're like, look, we're not breaking these out for range day, but since you guys are here, we're going to let you guys get teasers on all three of these things that the public has only heard about. He called them unobtainium 1, 2, and 3. And he was like, we're going to go get them. We had to wait for the table to finish, everybody that was there to finish shooting, which wasn't long. I mean, there was lines, but we waited a few minutes and they cleared the table. But then they told all the people, like, hey, you're not going to get to shoot these, but don't leave. You're going to want to see these. And the first one they pulled out was that 7.6239. Put it in Matt's hands, and
it's integrated and hearing safe,
dude.
Even with full power 7.62 ammunition,
like just regular steel case.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's super cool. a lot of people, especially AK people, are like 7.62 and an AR. It doesn't like I give me all the stuff that's against the rules. I'm for it. I
Well,
like
that's what
it.
the AR platform's based off of. Everybody likes it because everything is against the rules, against the grain. It's the different, it goes down the different path. So hats off to Maxim for making something that off the beaten path. Just like we said earlier with Syndicus, just like we say with a lot of these guys, the market is so flooded with the same old. And I say that perfectly well knowing that the same old is great. A lot of
Good.
it is great. When people come out with new stuff, it's either a smash hit or everyone laughs at it and wonders why it was made in the first place. But I think these options where you can actually retrofit on an existing lower receiver that you already own and all you got to do is buy an upper in some cases, like, I don't know, it's just another tool in the toolbox.
I think it's really interesting too, because like a lot of guys, like for example myself, I'm kind of PDW, like little short weapon, but still shoots a rifle cartridge. I'm kind of curious in that, but maybe every 30 caliber thing that I actually own is 7.62 by 3.9, and taking on a whole nother caliber of 300 blackout and trying to backfill for that, like maybe it's a really cool option to have if you're into 7.62 by 3.9. So
Yeah, so we did a video on that. We'll be dropping that teaser sometime this week or next week. Super great. And he went to put it away, and then he broke. What was the next one he broke out?
300 blackout.
Yeah, so he broke out the 300 blackout, and I was like, hold on, Adam, you need to shoot this. Let me hold the camera. So I took over filming, and Adam got out there to shoot it. Talk about it.
So, once again, of course it was hearing safe. It's 300 blackout. And I can't remember if they were subs or supers, but either way, it was completely hearing safe. But that's not the cool factor. It was touch safe. I shot about 5 rounds, which, okay, not a lot, but we all know 5 rounds suppressed will heat up a can. He's like, touch the can. I'm like, for real? He's like, no,
big
touch it.
popsicle.
Yeah, he grabbed
And
it first.
he did, and he had me touch it, and it wasn't even warm. It's not that it was warm to
Still
touch.
cool.
It was cool still, and that was 5 rounds, which is I'm sure eventually it would get warm, yes. But after 5 rounds, it was still cool. It was super impressive.
Yeah, and I think I was going to say, but I want to hop in and say I think those 5 rounds. I don't think the whole video we did was longer than 20 seconds, and I think part of it was you holding up, getting ready to fire, and then putting the gun down. So I think those 5 rounds probably all went within 7 to 10 seconds, just pop, 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 maybe less than 7 seconds.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, yeah, and that would heat up most cans. I mean, I know Mike and I have cans, and Mike, you have some really nice cans, but they're still going to heat up.
Thanks, Boo.
And they were telling us that it's kind of a special new technology of those cans. Shares similarities with both types of common flow designs, a hybrid between the two. So they're going to be pretty special from Maxim, and the guys at Maxim really treated us like freaking rock stars.
And then Mike, you got to shoot one too.
Yeah, so then they broke out the last one, and there's no secret, I'm an 8.6 fan. I love the 8.6 cartridge. I think there's a place for it. Is it for everything and everyone? No. But neither is 458 lot. Neither is 300 Win Mag. Neither is, 458 Shy-Tac. There's a point and a purpose, but it's not for everyone. Well, they broke out the 338 ARC. And the first thing I found that was interesting, because I haven't really studied up much on it, I was like, hey, I'll use SHOT Show to study up a little bit more on this. The first thing I noticed was that the upper fits on a standard AR lower, an AR-15 or an M4 lower. It's not an AR-10 or an SR-25. It's an SR-15, which was like, oh, okay. Of course, any range you go to, they got to shoot without ear protection. I go up and I'm putting the muffs on, and the guy's like, no. Take one ear off so you can hear it. And I was like, well, if I'm taking one off, I'm taking them both off. So they loaded me down with 6 shots, 3 supers, then 3 subs. The first 3 shots, I was probably shooting, I don't know, how far was that range? 80, 75 yards?
Yeah, it wasn't
Ish.
not real far. Yeah.
So the first 3 shots, all supers, just ringing steel loud. And it was like, okay. But the muzzle blast was quiet. It was like, oh man, this is really quiet. Then those supers kicked in, or excuse me, those subs kicked in. I mean, it was an audible difference, first off, especially after hearing the super shoot. But then on top of that, there was zero to low little recoil, and same zero, same can, same everything, and I was still ringing steel. Now I get it, at 75 yards, the POI is not going to shift that much at 75, but
What did those
quiet.
projectiles weigh though? Like almost 300 grain or something?
No, it was like 350.
Yeah, that's a slugger, dude.
Dude, it was a beast. And
It's
so
the goofiest looking little bullet.
yeah, I mean, it looked like a 6.5 Creedmoor on steroids, like big case, skinny neck, and then like this big long missile. I mean, dude, it was awesome, and I can't wait to release all 3 of those teasers. And we want to thank everybody over at Maxim for, allowing us to shoot that and be the first people to really drop all 3 of those, together back to back to back.
I love it.
That's success.
No, that was
Very
good.
nice.
So yeah, that'll probably be condensed down a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I guess now we
Now
go
let's
into
roll into seeing the homie Dustin at JP.
we're still going to talk about range day.
I think we need to talk about Dustin at JP and then say we got to go. This might be an hour and a half podcast, but like,
Okay.
we're going to Zoom, but let's talk about Dustin and then let's talk about running the cars. And then like, hey, we did that and we had to leave because we had to go get ready for the Gundies.
Okay.
So somebody else pick up because I had just finished talking. So somebody talk about JP. We don't have to talk about the real Avid tool that he dropped.
Right, we just bought.
And we're going to skim over Nemo. Fuck that. But we need to talk about the JP. Yeah. And then just shout out to Dustin for showing us love or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then, then
All
we
right,
got to really talk about Syndicus for just a second more. Be like, that's when we went to Syndicus. We already talked about him, blah, 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 blah. Great stuff. But then after that, we rolled over and saw the cars and decided to take our luck at that. We'll drop a video on that soon. And then we looked at the time, and it was time to go. But somebody take it.
All
I'm
right.
going to reset.
3. So big shout out to Maxim. I agree. But after that, we got to roll over to JP, and we saw another past guest, Dustin. And he was really happy to see us. I think he gave us all big hugs. And it was cool. It was super nice to see him, and we got to shoot some stuff with him. And, he got to make fun of me a little bit, and it was a good time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he. We can't say it on this podcast, but you'll see it on the video. He talked about a body part of a moose. We learned a new thing when a mag falls out and what you're supposed to do when it falls.
He did.
Who knew? I guess the crowd he runs with is a little weird, but I'll start doing it from here on out. I guess.
Yeah. Dustin
Yeah.
it was super cool running into him. I think that's one of my favorite. This will be a reoccurring theme as we continue to tell our SHOT Show story, but meeting the folks that we've had on the show.
Everybody's your favorite.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we left there and then we jumped in the car because, mind you, this place is huge. So we drove everywhere. We were lazy. We'd walk a few tents, get in the car and drive. We finished that area and we were like, all right, let's go up top. And actually, we've already mentioned Andy, but we were like, let's go see these things and let's go talk. We got to shoot that stuff. I shot an AK. It's not the first time. It won't be the last.
I got it on video.
But yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It was fun. I mean, he makes a really nice product. He really does.
He does. And then we went and did the car challenge. That it was pretty cool that the car challenge was not busy, but also Nate was over there. A couple of the instructors, the cool guys, were over there that we had the day prior, and Sergeant Ashley was over there as well.
Yeah.
And so we got to see all the people again over there, and then we got to run a little competition. Matt ran against some guy because he was really nice about that, and he had no partner. So Matt's like, "I'll run with you." And
yeah, I was the odd guy out too. So
you kicked his butt, though. Hey, I will say
I was
that.
gonna say, pretty sure I smoked that fool.
You smoked it. You smoked
Well,
it. Then
if it would have been a full course, you would have smoked him. But I think what happened was you burned
I got
him
hung up
so
waiting for
bad
him.
on the rifle portion when y'all hustled down and shot the spinning targets. He ended up beating you there, and he almost spun the target, which was great. But if it was all one single event and you weren't going to get shot in the back as you ran, you'd have dusted him.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And then me and
And then
Mike,
Adam and I ran, and it was good. It was fun. It was windy. It was dusty, so it was hard to see certain targets. You had to stand, kneel, crouch, lean to this side, lean.
Little tiny targets in the window of a car and stuff. Like it was
Yeah.
cool. It was a cool
It was
course.
it was super cool. I asked if we had a bag of frag grenades, and they said no. So it was like, all right, I guess we got to shoot these things. But we did all that, and then man, let's move out of Staccato Vegas. I mean, it was great. Shout out again to them. If anybody ever is looking for an area in Vegas, or you're looking for a destination and you're in, like, hey, we're going to go vacation in Vegas, but I want to go shoot there too. Look these guys up. They've got top of the line weapons, not just staccatos. You can go out there. You can rent range space. You can rent course time, and you can borrow some firearms and have a really good time. And they've got the ammo too.
Also, they make it more accessible to the public around SHOT Show than regular SHOT Show range day. So if you're a member of the public and you want to go out to one of their range days, do it. They love to have you. So
Yeah, but we had to leave because we had to go get back. We had an event. We all had to get get suited and booted. We had the Gundies that night.
we did. We had to get dressed up and look all fancy like.
Adam wore a tie.
Adam had to wear a tie and
he
sleeves.
spent a month and a half talking about how he wasn't wearing a tie. And man, that dude showed up with a Windsor knotted tie looking to the nines. Like,
Hey, I'll be honest though. Okay, I did, but what you didn't see was 20 minutes prior me on YouTube trying to figure out how to tie this tie, messing it up like 15 times.
In
But
the mirror.
I figured.
yeah,
But yeah, so we hitched an Uber over to the Venetian Theater. We
Gorgeous.
walked in. When we first walked in, it was like, all right, well, let's get in here. There was a line to get in, which is going to be anywhere in Vegas. We ended up running into a couple people we knew, but it was really cool. Forged Relations and the Gundies and their sponsors, EOTech, Goon Tape, Stop Box, Primary Arms. Excuse me, not Primary Arms, Palmetto State.
Palmetto State. Remember, that's how we got nominated.
Oh yeah, Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron bought us a ticket into. Yeah, he's the one that got us there. Appreciate that, homie.
People are.
But yeah, man, it was really cool when we walked in, and as soon as we walked in, the red carpet was there. We got to get our pictures taken, and we run into a fellow podcaster, John Farner from State of the Second, and immediately he wants to get an interview and talk about constitutional carry and stuff, and we're all for it. We're all for it.
We knocked that one out, and right when we knocked that one out, then we had Chase doing an interview, and we went right over to Chase, and I think we waited for about a couple more minutes, and then Chase interviewed us, and that one lasted a little bit longer, but Chase definitely got real personal with us, and Matt threw some words out there that were pretty profound about AKs. There's going to be some Reddit comments coming out about what Matt said about AKs. Whew.
Yeah, we got to finally meet, and when we say this, it sounds like we're flexing, but honestly, it's more we're fanboying and we're excited because we're fans of all this stuff too. But getting to finally meet some of these people, and I don't want to say heroes because I don't put any of us at heroes. You get to see these creators and these companies, and you get to meet people like. Jared Giannis, Guns and Gadgets. You get to meet Roy Hill and all the great stuff he does with charity work. You get to see, I saw Print Shoot Repeat. I saw Kyle Morgan. I got to see Blake. We got to see Baby Yoda. We got to see so many different people.
So many. There's not enough. You could sit there. We could be here 20 more minutes naming everyone off.
I'm going to mess his name up because I don't know if it was Sergeant, Colonel, General Stogie, whatever. I think it's Colonel Stogie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude won SHOT Show. He shows up wearing a ballistic helmet that was like bedazzled with a set of nods on it and just walking around with like this waxed, perfectly curled mustache. I was like, bro, that dude wins.
And a battle belt.
Oh, he was awesome. And then we'll talk about it later at the end, but we also ran into him at the Cry Party, and he gives us cigars.
I don't remember that.
I could tell Mike didn't remember that.
You could say that like Trump and Bill Clinton were at the Cry Party, and I'd have been like,
We're gonna get to that part because now you have. Hey, if you're listening right now, trust me, you want to get to the end of this podcast because the Cry Party and Mike. I have video that Mike doesn't know on him yet. That if he ever double crosses me, I got him.
That's all right. I
Turned
got
Yeah.
video on you too that got stuck on the drive. We're good, bro. But anywho, yeah, we go to the Gundies. We were robbed. Somehow, some dude
Robbed.
that nobody's heard of
Yeah,
named
who's Sean Ryan?
John Bryan or something won. No, hats off to Sean Ryan.
Yeah,
That dude
congrats.
dominated podcasting this year. I'm ready to watch. We're a fan as well. We're going to try to get him on the show one day. But yeah, man, it was great.
The Gundies was a really classy event. They did a good job of putting it all together. Almost everybody was black tie. I haven't been to another one, but it seems like they're making great strides to make this like a top-notch event, and I think they executed on that.
Yeah, we're going to call out the homie, though, because he is a homie. But we're going to call out the homie who won most dapper. So for someone who wins most dapper going to a black tie award show, you would figure they would just put it on.
Just for kicks?
Yeah, What the Kicks just showed up,
Or
man.
what the
and,
kicks? Sorry.
Yeah, he showed up in a T-shirt and some pants and some tennis shoes.
His acceptance speech was, well, I got pants on.
Adam, we can't hear you, bro. You muted?
Sorry.
Yeah. What did you say?
Oh, I said, I mean, he always talks about how he never wears pants, though. So he was
Yeah.
wearing pants, so.
Well, I think that means he wears shorts, but I don't know. I haven't been to his house. Maybe he's wearing pants. But either way, he won. Congratulations
Yeah,
to all
congrats.
the winners. You know, and after that, Unsubscribed had their live show, their podcast, and you know they did their thing. We hung out for that for a little bit. It was great.
Yep.
And then we got sucked back into that. It's like riding too close to the sun, man. You get
It
burned.
is.
We were walking out, and we ended up back at Circle Bar.
You know, everyone warned us about this, and we said, it's not going to happen to us. And I'll tell you what, we were wrong.
I'll give us props, though. We didn't stay there as long as we could have.
True. Well, that's only because
It's a 24-hour bar, Mike.
Well, yeah.
As
No,
late
but,
as we
like,
could
we
have.
got
We,
there that
we didn't
night.
get home till 2:30.
Well, Mike,
but
that
that's
night,
not because of Circle Bar.
right.
So
Let's be honest, we would have stayed there that late, but we ran into some other people that were around Circle Bar, and that's why we didn't get home.
yeah, so
got
I
it.
ran into a buddy of mine, engineer, for a company, and we were just talking, and he was like, "Yeah, we got a little party going on over here at Juliet's, which is a cocktail lounge in the same area, just maybe a 50-yard walk away, but it's all hiding behind curtains and all that stuff." And
Yeah.
we walk in there, and it's basically the whole team at Q. And we get in there, and we get to hang out with those guys, and it wasn't crazy. We just had a really good time,
Yeah.
just talking a bunch of smack. My wife was giving KB the business. You know, even Matt got Kevin to put his AK rosary on and do a Slav squat. We got a picture of that.
I need that picture. I don't have it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It was great. It was great. Yeah, we met so many people, and then I pawned Adam off because this guy told me he did some medical stuff, and he was from overseas, had a cool accent. I'm not going to say who he was or what he does, but I was like, "Ooh, hey, Adam does medical. You guys talk." Because I had no clue what he was saying, and I couldn't understand him because he was a little inebriated, but his accent on top of that, I was out, so I bounced.
He was a lot inebriated with a really strong accent, and I just kept going, okay, nice guy.
Nice guy.
Yeah, but
He tips his waitress really well.
I was going to say, that's the guy that didn't understand tipping because he's not from America. Huh?
He tipped his waitress very well. She had a good night.
Yeah, you don't ever ask the waitress how much do you want me to tip you, because she was probably kind.
She was. She could have been way
was.
worse.
But yeah, so we end up leaving that time warp. Thanks to everybody out there. Thanks to Nick. Thanks to Mitch, Tori, all of them. Great time. Great time.
Yeah, shout out Team Q.
But we leave there and we walk by Circle Bar, but we're like keeping our head down and not looking. Don't make eye contact. We need to leave. And dude, we got an Uber and hit back to the hotel because the next day was day one of SHOT Show. I just remember leaving, going up in our elevator, and I telling Matt, like, hey, dude, SHOT Show starts at 9. I'll see you down here at 8:30. And he said, I'm not going to be there. You can forget it. You're not seeing me there. Next morning, Matt was there.
He was down there, ready to go.
I don't know if ready to go is the right thing to say, but he was
I was there. Yeah.
He was there. That's fair.
So I didn't set an alarm. I had absolutely no intention on being there at all. None whatsoever. I was like, "Meh, I'm going to have to take a cab by myself. I'll pay for it all by myself. I'm going to show up an hour, maybe 2 hours behind these guys." Like, I was just accepting. But I was laying there in bed and somehow didn't close the curtains all the way. And the sun rose right in my face. So I'm sitting there at 7:45 like, ugh. And I was awake, so I was like, damn it, I gotta put on shoes and pants.
I was ready up and showered, and it felt like $1 million. I was like,
bet you
that's
did.
up. Yeah.
I felt good too. I really felt good that night or that day.
I did
was
not.
That's fair. I believe you did that day. That day, you did.
I was good the first 2 nights.
You were.
Thursday, not good, but
That's
was good.
true.
Right now at this portion, we all came back with a couple extra SHOT Show whiskey and windage patches. So right now, if you're listening,
Yeah.
in the comments, comment whiskey, all caps. If you comment whiskey in all caps, I'll get at you and we'll ship you out a patch.
100%.
We don't have many left, but we've got a few. So
Got a few. I already sent a few out, but I got a couple left as well.
yeah,
So
whiskey in all caps, and we got you right now. We might drop one later on too, but first person with whiskey, that's yours. So, Matt, this was your first trip to Vegas and your first trip to SHOT Show. So, explain the show that we saw.
So, SHOT Show, nothing outside of the convention. Like, actually showing up in the morning, going into the convention, getting your credentials. Like, I started to get excited. You start to see, like, some booths and some people that you know around. And you're like, oh, yeah, we'll walk around. And then it starts to open up. Then you start to see how far it stretches. And then you look on the map and see how many floors that it is. And, I've been to some gun conventions. I've definitely been to a couple of pretty big gun shows. And this is the largest gathering of pew people I have ever seen in my entire life. And we were just an ant in the farm, dude.
I don't know how the NSSF and SHOT Show, this has to be a whole year-long job of planning. Everyone I talk to, when I say I wish they'd go somewhere else, everyone says no one else can house them, and I kind of believe that. There's 4 floors in the Venetian/Palazzo that are there, plus you have a walkway bridge over to the forums at Caesars.
And a basement.
And a basement. Well, I think that's in one of them. But the thing I will say, the only thing I dislike about it, the whole Venetian, the layout of the Venetian is, I don't want to say it's terrible. It's tough. The signage isn't great. You gotta walk around the block to go next door type thing. Like it, I wish there was a different place because everybody is put in their own little rooms and their own little ballrooms, I guess you could put it. But, nothing, there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. And so that's part of the challenge. So if you're new to SHOT or you're going to go for the first time or you're a seasoned guy and you're just not getting it done, like utilize that app, make a list of how many of the vendors you really need to see and talk to, stick to that, and do not go squirrel and stop and talk to people. The moment you do, you lose so much time. We crashed our first meeting. We had a meeting with Yankee Hill first thing in the morning. We completely missed that thanks to a time change error on our scheduling. We went and would literally walk past people that were on our list because we saw someone we wanted to go talk to and we never made it back. It was tough. We redeemed ourselves, but it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming if you've never done it or if you've done it a million times and you have a lot of people you need to see.
yeah, no, it was a lot. You can't see everything. It's just not possible. You just have to pick and choose. And we did get to see a lot of people. We're not going to name drop everyone because one, we'd be here for 5 more hours. But
Right.
we did get to meet some cool people that I think that need a special mention. One that I want to mention that I thought was amazing to me because we talked about trying to get her on the show at one point. Now we got to meet her was Catherine Glock,
Yeah.
and we got to
She's
meet
got
her.
your digits.
Apparently, she does
freaking
have my
number.
digits because she was a very, very sweet lady. She heard us, and Mike's
I played
Mike.
King Wingman, bro.
He did. He pitched it about her coming on the show. Of course, we talked to the Glock marketing people as well, but we talked to her directly, the boss lady, why not? And she was very sweet and understanding. She had her sister come over and
She
take
was
our
like, give me your card. It's like, yeah, dude, we already gave all those out.
yeah.
Oh.
And she's like, well, let me get your number. And her assistant came over and took a picture of. Well, I thought Mike was going to give his number, but no, Mike brings my number up.
Well, if anybody on this show, if anybody's listening, even Adam's profile picture for his phone is going to be like glamour shots. Like, I'm over here Olin Mills, like, I'm picking my nose, like, hair all messed up in my photo. Like, Adam's is like, looking like it's a headshot for Hollywood. And I was like, you know what? Let me give her this. Let me give her this. So she took a picture. She looked at it. She was very excited. She said she's going to get at us. If she doesn't, I get it. She's busy, but we're trying to work that connection.
We are, and you know what? She has the official invite to come on the podcast, and I hope she does take advantage of it because I would love to have her on.
Yeah, but if not, dude, we also talked to their marketing guy who is also team captain of Team Glock, Shane.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
I've already reached out to him. Like that's I don't even want to say that's second place. Like, that's still a great.
It's still
guest
phenomenal.
to
I mean,
represent Glock.
At the end of the day, Glock, we
Yeah.
want you on the show.
Yeah,
It's that simple.
Yeah. Matt, day one, and I know you're going to not remember all in all who you saw, but like day one, like what was one of the highlights of SHOT Show day one for you?
So, I think one of the highlights was like I had a misunderstanding. I thought very narrow of like, oh, firearms manufacturers are going to be here. I think one of my favorites was stumbling into like that. It was like its own little room of like police and military contractors, and like the specialty like door jacks and entry equipment. Like that stuff was super cool to me. And I remember walking in there on day one and just being like, whoa! And it just caught me by surprise. And there's some really high-speed stuff out there that, as a civilian, you wouldn't be privy to even knowing existed unless you walked through that room or saw the feds using it on your front door.
That was one of the sidebars that we lost an hour at, but it was
Yeah.
definitely cool to see.
It was.
I think
what about you,
my
Mike?
coolest. I was going to say, I think my coolest. There were so many vendors, so I'm not going to say those.
Lots of cool stuff.
If you have the time, which nobody does, but for me, I'm a tinkerer. I'm an FFL. Going to the Supplier showcase, going to the top floor. I think it's the fifth floor.
Tooling?
Yeah, fifth floor.
Going up there, like if you walk up there and you just have an ID, a copy of an FFL, and a business Amex, you can pretty much open any style shop you want to open if you're up there at the Supplier showcase.
Oh yeah.
If you want to build optics, there's tons of different optic companies that are ready to white label for you or give you the pieces to make them. You want to build rifles? Guess what? If it's bolt action, they got you. If it's AR platform, they got you. If it's AK platform, they got you. You want to be a guy that just makes barrels? Well, guess what? There's a ton of people with barrel blanks there. Heck, if you say, I don't want to rely on any of these people and I want to do my own, there were people with CNC machines and
Yep.
lathes, and it was just like, that was the do-it-yourselfer floor. But what was really interesting, and I'll give away one little secret, if you walk around up there, you'll start to see people, as we did, who are wearing shirts that are displaying down the main floor, and they're walking up in the Supplier showcase and they're talking to people, and you're like, oh, I guess you get some parts made. Cool. Or you're searching to get some parts made, which, hey, I get it. You got to pick what you make. But if you were a do-it-yourself guy or wanted to start something, like you go up to the top floor Supplier showcase, you could come out with bolt carriers or safety levers or just a big box of detents, like you name it, it was there.
It was.
Yeah.
It was super impressive, and there was so much. The other thing, and this actually, I noticed I caught Mike off guard a little bit, and it's still, I think, new to all of us, was having people look at you or say something to you.
Dude, I hated this.
Because they know you, but you don't know them. And it's not, we're not that cool, right? We always say we're not that cool, but we've grown. The podcast has grown, and we are very grateful. And it's to the point now where people do listen to us, and they come up and they talk to you. And Mike had someone come and say, "I don't know who that is." I'm like, "Well, Mike, you're not going to know who they are because they're a listener." And
everybody's going to laugh and say, "Yeah, freaking right." But I'm still going to tell everyone, like, it's my mission. I'm a people person. I want to know who you are. So if you're a fan or a hater and you come up to me and you want to talk, like, be prepared. I've got to ask you who you are, how you know me, why you know me. Is it a positive or negative? Like, I don't like that. I don't like this feeling. I would be terrible as a celebrity because I'm going to, like, talk to everybody. I would be like a security team's nightmare. Like, let me get down in the crowd and talk to everybody.
I mean, you kind of are a celebrity already.
We're going to get to that. Let's get to that in a little bit because that's the highlight of my shot show.
Yes, sir.
Highlight of my shot show.
Yes, sir. Okay, we'll wait.
Because it ended at Cry, which was amazing, and I had a long conversation there. But day one, it was great. We had to leave. We actually had to go pick up Matt's wife. She couldn't make it to shot
She
show
didn't
on
make
day
it.
one. Yeah, so
She had a great time the night prior, though.
Great time.
Yeah, absolutely. But we had to go pick her up, and we actually got dressed, and we got to go hang out with our good friend Paul Malone and the rest of the team out at EOTech. We got to help them ring in their 30th birthday, 30th anniversary in the industry, and it was great. I mean, it was more than you could ask for. I mean, it was a nice evening.
It was what's cool is when we were there, we ran into another past guest. Well, Paul Malone, obviously. Then Chris Naganuma was there. So everywhere we went, it was past guest. And
Will
it was
Ranke, Forge Relations.
Will Ranke was there.
Will
Ben,
Ranke,
yeah. And it was great.
The homie from Stopbox was there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we got to meet all sorts of people, and then we heard somebody else was there, and of course, the first thing I look at, and if you know me, I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna talk, I'm gonna make a memorable impression, good or bad, and I told the guys, I was like, if I see him, don't you worry, we're gonna talk, and yeah, that opportunity presented itself. Sure enough.
You warned me. You looked at me and said, if he comes walking by, Adam, be ready. I'm going to stop him. I'm like,
we were ready too.
This is going to be really good or really bad. I don't know which one it's going to be.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So,
well, let's just put it this way. Mike was planning on stopping the baddest man on the planet, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, so there he goes walking by, and all I could say was, "Hey, champ, how you doing tonight?" And he stops, takes his hat off, looks at us, points at me, smiles ear to ear, and was like, "I need to know who you are." And he walks right up to us, and we introduce who we are. We tell him what we are, and I'm like, "Hey, I hear you're a fan of this industry. I hear you're trying to get in and navigate your way. We don't want to steer you one way or the other, but we would actually love to have you on to talk about this stuff." Long story short, he spent I don't know, 5-10 minutes with us talking.
Yeah.
His handlers weren't happy.
No, his handlers were not happy, but he
They were
danced
not
a little
happy
bit
at
with
all.
us. He had a good time. Yeah, man, it was a great time.
I told
Still
him,
haven't said who he was.
No, you haven't.
I was like,
No,
heavyweight.
Who was it, Mike?
It's like you don't look
The
you don't
UFC
look that
heavyweight
big.
champion of the world, John Bones Jones.
Bones Jones.
Yeah,
Well,
so of course the first thing Matt says to him is, and of course this dude is towering, this dude is wide, this dude will put all three of us on the floor maybe at once.
fair. It's fair. It's fair.
But Matt walks up after I introduce him to everybody, and Matt's like, "You don't look that big, and you don't look that tough."
God.
And I'm dying. And so we asked for a picture, and we got about 4, but he was gracious enough to squat his knees down. He bent those knees and he got lower.
He sat on the arm of the couch. He was like, I'll sit down on the couch so you look really big, bro.
And Matt's about to drop an elbow on John Bones Jones, which was absolutely great. And the only thing that I wish would have worked better was Matt made such an impression. Every picture we have of him, he's literally staring at Matt and laughing. There's not one where he's looking straight into the camera.
He's not.
Every one of them, he's scared.
And his handlers still can't comprehend this.
No, they're like,
better. And also,
he
what
shoved
happened
him
was
away though. He's like, leave me alone.
Right. He's like, he's cool, but also, John, he hands me his cell phone, and he's like, Whiskey and Windage. He goes to his IG, and he's like, find it. And at this moment, his phone's at 4% battery. So I'm like, oh shit, I want to make sure. Yeah. But also, I'm like, the Rolodex in this. I'm like, the phone numbers this man has in here. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. But I have his phone in my hand, and I go to his Instagram. I search us. I find it. I hit the follow button for him. Give it to him. He's like, cool, thanks. But I did have his phone in my hands for about, and his handlers just, they don't know what to do.
They were not happy.
And he was watching me with the phone too. Like you could tell, like it was a cool moment though.
Yeah,
it was a good
we had
time.
a couple of people we knew. A buddy of ours, Will, was there watching. And he was just like,
"You guys,
dude,
I can't take you guys anywhere.
They're always going to talk." But you know, we're here to bring that kind of stuff to our listeners, and we want to. I'd love to hear that journey. Not that his journey is any different than ours, but to get someone who, I'm sure he owns a handful of weapons. But his journey into finding out what's good, what's not, what's cool, what's not, what's practical, what's excessive. Like, he's learning all that stuff. And I remember when I was coming into that, and I still struggle with that every now and then. But it's exciting. It's like watching a kid on Christmas open presents, like the first time they realize, oh gosh, I can ride a bike. Oh gosh, I can walk. Oh gosh, I can talk. Like, this guy's like, oh gosh, there's so much. I want it all. What do I want first?
Right.
So,
I'm
really
excited
cool
to see if he competes. I hope he competes because the man's a competitor, and I'm sure he's going to get good training. He's going to find the best people to train him. Yep. And with his mindset of being a competitor, I'm sure he's going to do very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a common factor. We saw a lot of different MMA fighters there. I won't name any other ones because I don't know if they want it out there. But lots of different ones there that we got to say hello to. We shook some hands and gave one a T-shirt. But you know, it was great. So we left the EOTech party. Where'd we go after that?
What do you mean? Where'd we go after that? We were in a nightclub attached to the Venetian. What do you mean? Where did we go after that?
Back to the black hole.
That's right, because then we got to hang out and talk with Mad Minute Tactician Tackett. We got to talk to Nolan. We saw Brent Tucker. He was there for a minute.
He was.
And then he disappeared. I think Tim Kennedy walked on the other side and he ran. I'm not sure. Maybe. Man. I'm joking. We got to talk to Magnet. We got to see Kick Up Dust 308. We got to see we got to meet Staccato Pam for the first time.
Yeah, I can't believe how we've went this long on the podcast, and this is the first time we've actually talked about this.
Because we're trying to keep it chronological.
I know, but still, it's Pam.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to meet Pam. We met a lot of people. I mean, we can go on and on. We met, like so many people from our creators chat group that was there.
Yeah. Well, I guess something to preface with, other than a couple special things, being that we're media, we're not special, but we're privy to a lot of new products that are coming out. We know about products before they hit. But going there I know why people go there and basically call it like a family reunion. Like that's the one time a year that the majority of your friends in the industry are there. There's a couple that don't go, a couple that don't make it, but for the most part, everybody's there, and that may be the one time a year you get to see them. So we're just going to miss that time warp, and we left there. We woke up the next day. Now we're talking, this is Wednesday morning. As a team, we're all together. Linnea's with us. Sorry, Linnea, I said your name. But Linnea's there, Kelly's there, we're all there, and we had promised one of our friends that we were going to hit their booth and We walked around. We met. We got to see Jeff Sub-Second. We got to meet the great guys over at Born Primitive. Definitely, Norarm is great. I rock Norarm. Hank's great. They're all great there. Born Primitive, love their stuff too. Definitely check them out. But then, dude, we walked away and we had to go see our boy Jared at Wheeler.
Dude, we talked to him at Wheeler. We got to see all the new greatness from Wheeler that's coming out, from Caldwell. There's so much stuff over there we got to check out.
If you're someone who hates sighting in a rifle, or you're someone who just can't get it right, or you're someone who values time and doesn't want to spend a lot of time doing it, if you haven't seen the new master scope system that Wheeler's going to drop,
so cool,
laser grid and all of the adjustments, you're missing out. Typically, the laser's in the barrel or on the front of the barrel, and you put it on paper and you dial your windage and your elevation to where you get close and you pretty much get in. Now this actually has mill squares on it, and there is a grid so you can dial in, and if you need more than 3 shots, you're doing something wrong, and the third is just to confirm the second.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna get you on paper right away for sure. And then also just a couple of their other tools that are coming out, the power torque driver, that was super cool as well. I'm like loving that thing.
Yeah, that thing is great. Matt, what did you like over there at the Wheeler booth, at the Caldwell booth?
Yo, and this is silly, I love the little stick-on lights at Caldwell for the steel. Those are going to change my life. And then part of the same...
You're never going to hit it.
I know, but that's why I need the light, bro. That's why I need the light.
Yeah, no more is Adam going to be able to do editing where he shoots at the target and just chimes in the ding.
It's messed up.
I'm just joking, people.
It's fucked up.
Joking. Now he's got to do the light too.
Do the light for proof. Do the light for proof.
I'm messing around, guys.
Those were pretty cool, and their whole line of steel all in one place is cool, because everybody sells Caldwell around me, but it's like 4 or 5 plates to choose from, and getting to see like the whole product lineup on the floor was really cool. And then that new little frisbee thing.
The helicopter clays.
The helicopter clays.
So cool.
Dude.
Yeah.
I can see myself having fun for hours with one of those in a bulk box of 12 gauge.
Yeah, dude. And then we got stuck over there, and I say stuck because we stayed there, looking at all the laser binoculars and rangefinders and all of that stuff.
All the crimson, those crimson binoculars were super cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Crimson Traces, they've had a bad rap. Like, people will say bad things about them, but I think that what people see them bringing to market this year might change some minds. They've
I don't know. I mean, I think that anybody that's bringing value at the lower price points, whether it's Crimson Trace, whether it's the Fox people, I won't name their name because I've got beef with them right now. You look at anybody, even some of the lower end entry stuff like the Sig Romeo stuff or some primary arms stuff, it's all comparable. I don't want to say it's the same. It's all comparable.
Yeah.
So it's you got to test it out yourself. That was really cool. We got to see the new Bog stuff. I'm a huge Arca rail guy. All the new Arca stuff's going to be sweet. And Matt found him a Lazy Man Coyote rig.
He did.
Like that a lawn chair cool. On the ground.
Yeah, it's like a really, really low lawn chair, long lawn chair, and it's got a big pivot arm, kind of like one of these microphone boom mics on it, but like really heavy duty, and you can lock it down and lock your rifle in it. Set that thing up under a sagebrush and just
go.
Dropping dogs.
Yeah, man, we walked through all that stuff. We went to Primary Arms. We went to the Maxim booth and got to talk to those guys.
Aero Precision.
We went to Aero Precision, and our podcast had just dropped. We got to see, we got to meet Amy out there. She's great.
Shout out.
Yeah. We got to talk to those guys. We're getting a lot of hate on that podcast just because they're experiencing a huge backlog of orders. I can't speak to that. I don't know what's going on there. And, I've been in a position where backlog is a real thing and it sucks and there's nothing you can really do to save face. Maybe the release of this podcast that we did was great timing for us, bad timing for them. But I'm fully confident that whether it meets the customer standard or not, I still believe that they're still gonna right the ship and fulfill the orders and get everything done.
They will. I mean, they will.
God forbid they put out a product that's in such high demand, like it has more demand than they originally anticipated, and have to make some more parts. Like, sorry guys.
Order a custom anything, and if they're like, well, this isn't custom, like, all right, bro, just wait another 3 weeks on your red anodized mag release and safety switch. It'll be there, I promise.
Yeah, well, here's the thing too with that. I blame Amazon. We are the Amazon age where we're used to 1 to 2 day or sometimes same day delivery.
Yeah.
And we're all a little bit older. We all remember back in the day. No, it was a week to get you ordered something online. You waited a week or two.
I remember ordering stuff from the back of a...
and have to go in 3 times to see if the new release came out to check it out 3 weeks in a row.
I remember pulling the little paper card out of the back of a comic book to order some sort of novelty junk, and I had to manually with a pencil fill in the address and a credit card number so that they could bill it or send it with a money order, and it would take a month to get something that you ordered.
Yeah, or even when you used to get over on those old CD and tape deck companies, they'd be like, hey, give us $1 and we'll send you 50 tapes, and then you owe us for some later, which no one ever paid for.
Right.
So everybody's credit got wrecked that first time, and then it all got fixed again. But dude, that stuff took 4 to 6 weeks to get there.
Right. Well, even car parts back. I remember ordering off Jegs catalogs, right? I remember buying car parts. You didn't get stuff the next day. So Amazon's kind of ruined that for people. They think, well, if I ordered it, I should get it tomorrow. And
and if you want them to, and unfortunately, we're in an industry where if you want them to innovate, they just dropped new lever action furniture. They just dropped more features for their bolt action stuff. They just dropped new suppressor upgrades. They just dropped a whole bunch of new stuff. And so, they've got to put some of those machines on that stuff. So it's either get yelled at for never innovating and coming out with something new, or come out with something new and then people are mad they got to wait a couple more weeks on their parts. I'm not taking up for them or condoning it or condemning it. I'm just saying they're not going to win either way, and it's unfortunate.
You can't please people. Or a lot of these custom order, like a custom Kydex holsters, a lot of places say so many weeks, and then people get mad. You agreed to it beforehand, so people, you just can't make them happy. You're right. It's but we know this in every podcast we do. There's always those negative comments. It's just some people can't help but be negative and just get mad when they don't get their way instantly.
Yeah, I was super surprised. Kirk is a mountain of a man.
Yes, he's tall.
When he joined us on the podcast, I didn't think anything of it, but in person, I'm like, damn, Kirk, you're a big guy.
Yeah, super great.
You know who's taller?
Nice dude too.
You know who's taller than everyone thought they were? No, you know who's taller than me? You know how many times people came up to me? You're not short. No shit, I'm not short.
Not short.
Ava comes up to me and she looks at me, and I'm taller than Ava. She's just like, "Oh, you're not short. They were lying." I'm like, "Yeah, they are lying."
Well, you're shorter than us, even if it's by a credit card length on me. You're still shorter than us by a hair.
But everyone sells it like I'm 5'5".
Yeah, but I mean that's part of the magic about you, man.
Part of the magic.
Yeah.
Never caught up in the height argument.
Yeah, we finally went to Caesar's Forum on that very last day. We only stayed till Wednesday, guys. Adam went back a little bit on Thursday, but he got dysentery from the Oregon Trail and he got sick. But anyway, before that, we walked through. We saw a little bit there. We got to see some stuff. Saw some stuff from OA. Those OA 2311s they're super sweet. I want to shoot one. I'll backtrack a hair. We saw the homie Jake from Mantis. We got to try out their new virtual shooting, where it reads the room and actually puts people virtual reality that shoot, and it's augmented into these glasses where you can see the room and then you see the characters. And I mean, there's bad guys, there's hostages,
Wow.
it was wild. It was wild. And then when I said, dude, I want this, how much is it? He was like, yeah, this is for like agencies, and
Yeah.
you're probably not going to get cleared by the wife to buy this. And I was like, okay, never mind.
Thank you.
I'll just still keep running around and dry firing. But it was cool, man. It was cool. Once again, we, if I have advice for anybody, we ate one meal a day. We ate lunch on Tuesday and Wednesday. We ate lunch on Monday because we ate at that barbecue place coming back from Staccato, Vegas. We ate 2 meals on Saturday, but Adam wasn't here for those. But yeah, man, you forget about eating, you forget about doing all that stuff. So you're walking, your immune system's getting low because you're not getting enough food, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting enough of anything. So yeah, you're riding the rails. But we had to go home and get dressed because it was the last night, and Guns Out TV had a get together. Also, guns.com had a get together, and we were still holding out hope on Cry Precision, and whew, good God, it all worked.
It did. It did. Guns.com was a cool party at Paris.
Really nice.
Yeah, we got
Really?
to see HTX Tactical.
Yep.
Got
to see
pictures with him.
Yep. Good guy.
We saw Boomstick Babe.
We saw her a couple times. She was okay. Talk about. I was like, she is a little ball of energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, she is. We saw Carrie from Carrie Sloan.
Carrie Sloan, Stilettos and Shotguns. Yeah.
Yeah, Stilettos and Shotguns. We saw for like the 5th time Tracy Guns. Tracy's the homie.
Tracy's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Tracy's
Tracy.
awesome. Yeah,
And
She's
she was
everywhere.
in full costume too. She
Yeah,
was having a good
evidently it
time.
was Taryn Tactical's birthday, and they sang Taryn a happy birthday.
They did.
But yeah, we partied there, and then we were like, hey, let's load up and let's go to Cry. So we went to Cry.
Well, we got lost going to Cry because it's like a hidden party.
It was a hidden party.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
we-
sketchy. Like, were we like?
It was a rodeo
Sketchy.
arena behind a hotel that the hotel had
It's
no
like
idea
where you
was
go.
actually-
It's like where you would go to like buy like Matt's Russian AK parts, like like behind a building.
But I knew we were in the right place because it's like picture Hulk Hogan wearing an American flag cape and a George Washington hat, and like 50 of them all walking in the same place. I was like, these
Yeah.
are patriots. Like, I know we're in the right spot.
Oh yeah, we were, but it looked sketchy. But it was good. Yeah,
couple
Yeah,
Lamborghinis parked in a barn. Like, it was weird. It was
Yeah,
strange.
It was weird. You walked in, and then of course the American Gladiator theme, and everybody just doing the events and running all that. Somehow I ended up shotgunning my bourbon out of an RPG and ice and all, and then I grabbed Matt and was like, Matt, you got to do this, and I videoed it. That video, if it's not out, it'll be out soon. Adam
I think
got
I have more videos still. I haven't sent you yet.
Oh, no.
Adam got to be the sober guy, and I don't want to say babysit us because he didn't babysit us, but
No.
he was navigating us. He did
I
navigate
did.
us home.
Well, let's put. We got to hold up. We're not skimming over this, okay? Let's back up. Let's back up a little bit. No,
we
no, no,
almost
no.
did
Oh
it, guys.
no.
Yeah.
Thought we almost
It was a good time. It was super fun. The Cry party, I'm not going to spill the beans on it. If you were there, you know, but it was super cool. It's nothing like I've ever experienced in my entire life ever,
Yeah.
anywhere. And I've been to cool parties. Nothing like this ever.
Oh, I do want one thing to say. So, the Cry party. Gosh, I've already forgot the dang. I feel terrible now. I think I'm wearing it as an undershirt. Hold on. I am. Y'all gonna have to read this.
Oh, Warrior's Heart.
Where's
So,
hard?
I saw it. So anyway, the Cry party. All of the sales there for all of the drinks and all of the stuff all got donated to Warrior's Heart charity. They were the honorary beneficiary of this. Really gives back to veterans, which was great. I knew that we weren't going to be there super long, but I bought a whole bunch of tickets to get some drinks. I did not drink all of those drinks, but
Most of them.
No, I gave a few out too. I mean, I
Oh,
got,
you did-
got
you did, you
Kyle's
did.
son some. I got the turkeys some. You know, it was good. But no, man, it was really good. But it was all going to a good cause, so I didn't mind doing that. But yeah, all right. Now back to you.
Oh yeah,
saying
back
it glossed over.
to so during the process here, you know, the boys had their wives with us. We're all having a good time. Mike's wife kept adding clothes. She kept finding costumes to add. She kept adding all kinds. She had a great costume at the end. She kept adding more clothes, more clothes. Mike, on the other hand, kept losing clothes.
There's no lies told.
I think we're just lucky he was wearing like 3 shirts.
No, when I left, okay, so I started out wearing a blazer. I had a T-shirt on underneath it, a Whiskey and Windage T-shirt, and then I had an undershirt.
You did.
Right.
By
Okay.
the time it was all said and done, I walked out wearing an undershirt. But my wife was wearing the Whiskey and Windage T-shirt and the blazer by the time we left.
Yes.
But she also had a cowboy hat with LEDs on, some American flag sunglasses.
She was dressed
At some
up.
point, a Ric Flair robe.
Yes.
Yeah.
She got new shoes, and I had her other shoes in my back pockets.
A flintlock pistol.
you
a
had
flip-flop
you had
pistol.
stiletto heels in your back pockets
Stiletto
of your
pumps
jeans.
in the club. That was me.
That was
great.
you. And you were on the dance floor, and then you found a friend.
Oh, man.
Apparently, you have a fetish. I didn't know this. Mike has a inflatable fetish.
Yeah, so there was a inflatable bald eagle that hit the ground, and something told me basically, hey, that's the equivalent of an American flag that does not hit the ground. So I chose to pick it up, and I carried it around with us the rest of the night, and it would not have went in the Uber, so I did leave it. It's made of plastic, so when I left, I did put it back with its family in the recyclable area. But yeah, that was my best friend for a while. We carried it for a while.
And that's the PG-13 version of what happened. We're just going to go with that. I like it.
But what is your all right? Let's go real quick because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So, Matt, first trip to Vegas as an adult to do what you needed to do. We still didn't get to show you all of Vegas, but you got to see 35% of SHOT Show. You got to do parties and events every evening. What was the highlight for you?
Yo, honestly, the highlight for me was, again, the people and parties. Like, SHOT Show convention was cool, but the events out of that, like the range event at Staccato, the way Staccato treated us, the Gundies, the way they treated us, EOTech and how they treated us, and then all the people we got to meet in between, like, that was lit. I feel like a lot of people, they've probably gone to Vegas 100 times in their lifetime because they think it's a good time. And the one time I went, like, I did it like a rock star, and it was insane, really.
Adam, what was your favorite part of SHOT Show?
I haven't said this to you guys, but after thinking about it the last couple of days on my deathbed, it was connecting with the fans, people that came up to us and said, hey, Whiskey and Windage, hey, I watch your show. Hey, I know who you are. I've heard of you. What didn't
Right.
matter what it was. That, to me, was such an honor, and it made me feel very humbled and makes me realize that what we're doing is special. And, yeah, that really is, that was my highlight.
So, my highlight has nothing to do with SHOT Show, has nothing to do with seeing you guys, has nothing to do with the parties because those all in itself are awesome. My favorite part, and I'll say it because it was hilarious because I know y'all have something to say. If I didn't get called Bert Kreischer 5 times each day,
Perfect.
then it wasn't good. And there was at the Cry party, at the EOTech party,
Oh, yeah.
and then once on the SHOT Show floor on day 1, I got stopped by 3 different people
Yep.
who were like, you're Bert Kreischer. And of course, at this point, at the parties, people are having good times, so I'm not going to make them feel depressed. And I'm like, yeah, I am. What's up, man? I saw you live, and they would say the city that they saw me in and talk about how great the show was. And I would just look them right in the eye, shake their hands, and say, man, I appreciate you for the support. I hope you come see me next time we stroll through. And they were like, dude, you are so cool. You're so down to earth. You know, I want to take a picture. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, absolutely, dude, get in here. Let's take some pictures. Now, later, these pictures are going to be deleted because they're going to realize I'm not Bert Kreischer. But
It was hilarious. Well, even the Gundies night, we were leaving, and I'm wearing a black suit. Mike's dressed up in a tuxedo, so these girls stop us, like, and they thought the same thing. And I'm like, no, 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 no. They're like, well, who are you? I'm like, I'm his security guard. He's not taking any pictures. Burke's not taking any pictures tonight. For real? Like, yeah, for real. Okay. And they were so sad. We were trying to leave, right? So I played a security guard. They totally blew down as a security guard. It was
but
freaking
you
awesome.
were all blacked out with your black.
I was.
Like you were
Yeah.
there.
You
like
did look like a
worked the part.
security guard, yeah.
I did. I loved it. It was so great.
So and that's just the number of people that like stopped you or talked to Adam. They're like, we're 3 full-grown men, right? So in most common walkways, we can't walk shoulder to shoulder without being a bunch of jerks. So a lot of the times, and we kind of rotate who's on point and who's standing next to who. But like a lot of the times, I'm
fat and slow, so I'm in the back.
like 5-6 feet behind them, you know? And so people would walk by and I'd see them look at Mike, and then whoever they're with, they're like, that's Burt Kreischer. And we just keep walking, dude. And that happened, I don't even know how many freaking times.
Dude, it was the best thing ever. So we're at the end, and we missed a couple of people that I do want to say I appreciated meeting and shaking hands. You know, I already said Kyle Morgan, but I do want to say Kyle's wife. She was amazing to talk to. Amazing woman. Definitely love seeing their triumphs. I'm going to steal it from Matt. We got to shake hands and talk to Clay and Rachel.
Yep.
That was great. Speaking of fans, and I don't even want to say a fan, I want to call him a friend. Daniel, great dude. He came running over whiskey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he did.
And Daniel, dude, he's awesome.
Daniel named something?
Something. Yeah, dude, he's awesome. You know, we got to see Sully. We got to see, God.
So many.
All of the turkeys.
Ray was there. I got to sit and talk with. Yep.
Shout out Jeff from Mud Munitions.
Yes.
Yep. Jeff. I ran into him. He was in our hotel. I ran into him at the hotel. You guys unfortunately did not, but I got to hang out with Ava for a little bit on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Early
good.
mixer.
I mean, good. You got to see a lot more than we did. So tell us, what'd you do Thursday? That way we can wrap this
Yeah.
dude up.
So Thursday, I just went there, powered out, walked around, went and said I ran into Ava and Ray at the same time. So I sat there and talked to them for a while. And then me and Ava walked around for a few minutes. Went back up, saw our boy Josh at 1156 Productions. We traded patches. I got a 1-of-1 print that he did. He was handing out custom prints he had. I got one of those from him. I ran into Crate Tactical, our boy over
That's
there.
a great dude.
Great. Shout out.
Got a really cool knife from him. We did a little patch. I gave him a patch. He gives me a knife. I'm like, this is fair, cool. Got to shake hands with Hickok 45, Lanny Oakley.
Oh,
Man, so many people. Like, it was just, I just went around and I just was a little social butterfly. And it was a good time. But the problem was about 2.5 hours in, I started feeling a little, man, not so good. And then about 4 hours in, I just left and I went back to the hotel. And I somehow barely made it on my airplane.
So you had some Sons of Liberty guys on your flight in.
I did. I had some of the builders. Yeah, some of
Did
the
you
builders.
have anybody on your flight out, or did you not pay attention?
I did. I did have a guy sit next to me, Scott. Sit next to me, good dude. Has a suppressor company he's a VP of, and we talked, and he got me through a real tough flight because I was hurting pretty bad, and that was really cool as well. It was kind of fun the whole way there, networking. On the way out, networking. Even when I'm sick, we were networking with people. So the biggest takeaway from SHOT Show, besides what I said earlier, I would say is the networking we made. And it started from the moment I got to the airport, from the moment I left the airport on my deathbed. It was networking.
Matt, did you have anybody? You're in Idaho. Was like Grand Thumb on there or anything?
Grand Thumb made it. You guys met my other friend Adam from Idaho. He came by and shook our hand. He ran into Grand Thumb.
And we met your guy that did
biggest.
the bison thing, man. You got to give him a prop on that. That whole helical.
Yes, Taylor McRither from
Yeah,
RL Ironworks.
not
Forgive
that
me
much
if
of a
that was
friend,
wrong.
obviously.
He's used VPNs and VMs and some sneaky stuff to actually not just make a helical magazine for an AK, but as authentically as possible, reproduce the PP19 Bison, as well as the correct helical magazine to take that. There's been a couple of companies who've put out like a helical mag conversion for AKs, and they're kind of hit or miss. They're a fun novelty on the range, but I'm excited. He said they should start shipping in about 2 weeks, and so I'm excited for these to make it out to market and start to see people burn these things down, because it's a really, really rare variant, and especially in this country, it probably doesn't exist.
Yeah, and my flight back, I didn't pay attention. My head's down. I was hurting from cry. I went to sleep. I woke up when the wheels hit the ground. We're sitting at baggage claim, and I look over, and who's sitting beside me but Mr. Ronnie Barrett himself, standing there waiting on his luggage. And I was like, this dude is not pulling his luggage off that cart. Like, I'm going to get his luggage for him. So I got it, and we chatted for a minute, and great guy. Hope to talk to him again. But yeah, man, it's amazing it's amazing who you run into and who you see there.
Oh yeah, I mean there was more people than we even named. We could sit here for another 2 hours talking about the amount of people we're going into.
That's what I was going to say. So guys, we're at the end of the show. If you want to hear more about these stories, just get at us. Or if there's something more specific you want to hear, get at us, and we won't do a show on it. But we may go live and talk about it, or we may just reach out to you and talk. We appreciate everybody's support. We appreciate the SHOT Show, NSSF, Staccato Vegas, the Gundies, EOTech,
Forge Relations,
Cry, Guns.com,
John Keys,
the gift shop that had Red Bulls for us every morning. You need to step your snack game up, but thank you for that. And and I'm thankful that I never went to the ATM one time. So
not once.
Oh, we'll leave on this note then. I think gambling's dumb, but I had time in my hands at the very end. I threw a 20 in a slot machine, and I ended up making like 120 profit. So I walked away, cashed that out. Boom, I was done, gentlemen.
Man, you came back from Vegas a winner.
I did, $120 up. I was thrilled.
Well, man, dude, I think that's about it for me. If you guys got anything else, let her eat. But other than that, dude, Adam, put a bow
Matt,
on it.
what you got? Anything else?
No, dude, I think it's good. Just in retrospect, shot was amazing. Had a great time with my boys. Let's go, dude.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you listen to the end, make sure you are like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. There's plenty of great shows coming this year. Super excited for it. And there's a
patch.
Oh, we got patches. Oh yeah.
All right. So I've already done whiskey capitalized. So what's this one?
This one is Vegas Capital.
All capital Vegas.
Vegas. Get a patch. Get it. Come at us, guys. Like I always say, stay dangerous. Carry a weapon. We'll talk to you soon.